Come, sing with me.
Me and my younger sister were watching old TF2 SFMs the other day. I hadn't watched these videos in a while, and was immediately brought back into my old TF2 phase. And then I got sad. TF2, the game itself, is in a terrible state. You already knew that though. You play the game and you watch the same TF2 channels talking about it over and over again. They have every right to complain about the current state the game has been plunged in. But you see, for me, I kinda stopped caring. I've been playing this game for nearly
9 years.
And after 3,000 hours of playing this single title, I don't really want to play my favorite game anymore, or watch videos talking about the gameplay. But I still like Source FilmMaker. I love watching fan-made stories to the TF2 universe that, while not canon per se, are beautiful artworks, masterpieces of storytelling that could easily get me back into the TF2 world. There's just a single problem though. Where the hell have all the SFMs gone?
What?
Because while the fanbase is mourning over the loss of TF2's soul and charm in gameplay, everyone seems to have completely forgotten that Source FilmMaker TF2 videos as of recent are just really bad, and no one seems to have noticed. Why did this happen? Why is suddenly every single TF2 video that uses Source FilmMaker that I see is just a shitty 6-second remake of an existing meme? Very obviously, not every single SFM is like this. Small pockets of genuine talent have appeared over the last couple of years, but that's rare now. Modern TF2 SFMs are now just playgrounds for making shitposts that aren't even funny. And instead of new artworks of the TF2 universe being plentifully made for millions to watch, SFM, and TF2 as a whole, has been replaced by meme culture. And everyone's okay with that.
TF2 fans remaking every single meme template to be less funny.
First, let's talk about the program that people use to make these to begin with. It's a pretty obvious open secret that Source FilmMaker, the thing that creates these TF2 characters to life, is terrible.
What the hell is this?
I have tried using SFM before, and God almighty are there glitches everywhere. Of all the reasons as to what caused the decay of modern SFMs, this is probably the main reason why. Source FilmMaker is riddled with tiny, not big most of the time, but tiny bugs in its design that can take hours to fix. Satanic lights, weird borders, questionable sound quality, outdated design, lighting issues, and errors. With all of these quirks in the program's software at any given point, you can see why no one really wants to make long SFMs anymore. You sacrifice so much for often so little. It's hard describing it to someone who doesn't see the behind the scenes, but just know that the behind the scenes of your favorite SFMs were created in pure agony minute by minute. Even the dumb 5-second videos. It's always been this way, since day one. And I will always be impressed with anyone, regardless of quality, that made an SFM that's over 10 minutes long. Hell, even 2 minutes long. As I've said in the intro, SFMs have been replaced by meme culture, rather than cinematic artworks. TF2 has always been an inherently funny game. I don't blame you if you can't take its world seriously. It's for that reason why I think people use it as an excuse to make stuff like this. The game was always going to be very vulnerable to changing humor-wise. Even back then, there were silly Gmod videos of the TF2 mercs.
Damn! Motherfucker!
And TF2 memes are just like any other meme. They tend to get very popular, at least for a short bit.
Like, I mean, like the glaring flaw with this is so loud. Like,
it's very easy to get views into the 5 or even 6 digits if you make a meme, but it has heavy in it. This finally transitions into just YouTube culture as a whole. YouTube and memes were very different in 2014, obviously. People didn't really care that much at the time about making money off YouTube, or hijacking the subconscious in order to get as many views as possible. That was still just a bit foreign for most people a decade ago. So making TF2 videos back then, there wasn't much incentive to make a soulless, pumped-out product. There was little reason to. Passion was going to be your main drive if you wanted to get into SFM then. But now all you have to do is find some random meme, remake it quote-unquote, and boom, you got yourself a lot of views. There's just little challenge to this. Now, I have no evidence to back this one up, but I also think that the death of the Saxxy Awards has contributed to the modern SFM decline. Some current TF2 players may not even know what the Saxxy Awards is, considering how long ago the last one was. From 2011 to 2017, there was a yearly tradition done by Valve where whoever made the best SFM in different categories such as drama, comedy, or action, 20 people would be awarded an in-game item of a Saxxy. Just a simple stock Melee reskin, but it was gold. And second place was awarded a camera. So if you were ever confused why some SFMs say they're for the Saxxy Awards, this is why. Even though the reward itself was not that practical for gameplay, this forced the artists of TF2 to go out and make a high quality product that was under 5 minutes. Quality started off low beginning 2012, when they switched from replay to SFM, but by 2017, the competition was so high that SFMs you'd think would make a Saxxy Award didn't, because someone else made an even better video in high quality. As a result of this competition, millions of viewers got to see tens of great cinematic shorts. It's unknown why Valve stopped doing Saxxy Awards, but the last time they held one was when the game itself started to crumble, so there's an idea. And now that Saxxy Awards has been discontinued, there's little incentive to pour days or weeks of work into a hellish program to create a 3-minute product. Even if you make these solely for the internet, YouTube doesn't pay videos very well if they are under 8 minutes, so it's also a financial burden. And making a 6-second meme has a better chance of getting more views. Tying back to why we don't see many long-form pieces of SFMs anymore. Because it's easy to make a modern TF2 meme. It takes less time and will get you a decent amount of views to call it a day. And lastly, could the slow decay of TF2 itself possibly correlate to the decay of SFMs? It's plausible. To my shock, it's probably true that half of TF2's player base has started playing long after it received major updates. Half of the TF2 player base was not there at TF2's prime. Even when the updates suck, they weren't there when TF2 got them. They never got to realize just how great of a game TF2 was, how great the updates were day one. It's because of this that I fear most of the player base now just treats it like an average modern game, with them gladly gambling for shitty cosmetics and skins that do not fit the game's art style, and yes, watching unfunny gags that are not too dissimilar to other video game memes. But that's just not TF2, man. This isn't a modern FPS, it's a time capsule. One of the last great pillars of multiplayer gaming. You can't treat it like this. TF2 is not Overwatch, and it's not Fortnite, so stop treating it like it is. With every category of TF2 rotting away to the test of time, I guess it really isn't that surprising that SFM content would follow. There was an art to those silly Gmod videos, and the SFMs that barely made any sense. I don't care what you say, I don't care if it's nostalgia. It was clear as day that there was passion behind these as well. There's nothing behind this though. And it all may be because the game itself has been rotting along with its humor. To the people of today, please for once in your TF2 phase, drop what you're doing, take off those dumbass cosmetics, and watch Live and Let Spy, watch Scout Caps, and lament at just how little we've progressed in a decade. I'm starting to notice that the script I made for this is a lot messier than I would have liked. Even if you don't agree with the reasons, I just want someone to talk about this. Someone other than me, please discuss this. What happened to TF2 SFMs? I began playing TF2 back in 2015, as I've implied, solely because of the hundreds of SFMs that I used to watch on repeat. The passion of these TF2 videos that they would make. The art is what made me play this game. But turning the chapter to TF2's next generation of players a decade later, Where are their new SFMs? These remakes of random memes that make it infinitely less funny in the process? This has been all of the content I've been seeing from SFMs lately, which is soul-crushing to say the least. I know SFM is a hard program to use. I know there's little incentive to make good SFMs, with the abandonment of the Saxxy Awards, little pay, and general high risk, low reward. But please, all gamers that know how to use SFM decently, make something, anything, that is more than 1 minute. Make something creative, make something high quality, or at the very least entertaining. Memes don't count. I'm sick of seeing these, and I think everyone else is too, they just don't realize it. There is a distinct lack of quantity in great SFMs anymore, and I'd really like to see a change in that. I know me alone won't fix that though, this video won't change anything really. Just want to get the discussion out there. Alright, is there anything else in the script? Guess not.